Hi, welcome back to another video of Wong's Flipping Opinions. Wong's Cool Knife Corner. Honestly, I should just call my YouTube channels Wong's Cool Knife Corner. Today I wanted to talk about bearing knives. Most Balisongs in today's market are bushings. Bushings being tiny metal rings that are inside the pivots, and you have washers in between your handles and the blade, sandwiching the 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 bushing, and the bushing is what rotates. The washers keep the handles in place with the blade, and the bushing is what spins. This is the most common and most popular form of pivot system. Another one being just washers only. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of washers only. They're a pain to tune. It's really easy to bind. And yeah, I just find it frustrating because there's a very thin line between tap and play. Well, more like play and binding. Play's not a huge deal. Tap's annoying, and especially with the makeup, the blade is not hardened, so it does bend, and it's very easy to develop tap. You just need to physically wrench the blade back if it bends. Fucking smooth. Anyways, in between that, typically in terms of price point, is bearings. Ball bearings, however, feel very different in my opinion from bushings and washings. Bushings and washers. I feel that washers feel relatively similar to bushings. It's just more annoying and not as good. But bearings it's not a downgrade or an upgrade. It's different. And I find that a lot of people kind of hate on bearings in the community for, I don't know why, to be honest. Now, I have actually a couple of bearing knives. I have the Glir Bermuda and a stock Lucha, which I plan on making heavier by getting zippy spacers and inserts. And you might ask, why would I do that? First things first, I want my Lucha to feel different from everything else in my collection. And yeah, it's not a fantastic flipper. Great EDC knife. I love how the Stonewash look is in the design. That said, I'm terrified of getting bites with this because of how heavy it is. But that kind of brings me to my point is that one thing that I think bearings do really well is giving heavy knives a lot of mobility and fluidity. It feels like, despite the Bermuda being surprisingly heavy, I was like, oh, it's just a funky little guy. No, the Bermuda is made with steel. Just because it has G10 liners, the steel is heavy. And it's just a funky little guy. And yeah, the blade, it's very very handle biased, the Bermuda. I do have a zippy insert in here, but I took out all the bell bearings because I kind of want the stock feeling. Changing the feeling too much, I didn't really want to do that. Though it's good. I do have the zippy spacers, which basically wrecked this knife temporarily because of how impossible it is to take apart because the stupid T8 screws are just awful. Oh my god, they kept stripping. Now, the thing about these two knives is that these are actually quite handle biased, and yet despite that, I still feel like it's good flipping. The Talisong Z is fairly neutral. I would say it feels pretty dang neutral. And what I like about bearings is that it provides this really intense form of inertia where when you flip, you do have like less control in terms of where the knife goes. You kind of have to bend to where the knife wants to go. But part of that I think is good, especially with heavy Balisongs, because I mean, you can kind of make bushings do what you want it to do as well as washers. Bearings, you have to let the flow go. But that's just a completely different feel. It's not completely different. It's just, it feels very different compared to a bushings knife. And I think bearings just get a lot of hate, and so everyone demanding the Talisong Z be made with bushings. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be good. But part of why I love the Talisong Z is because of its bearings feel. Also, they're making the bushings one a Tanto blade, and I'm just tired of Tanto. They're fine, they're nice, and they're minimalistic. But you see one Tanto, you've kind of seen them all when they're just not doing anything. The scimitar looks very nice, and so while I find that maybe with bearings fanning, you have to kind of fight it because of how gravity just kind of wants the balls to roll downward. Any other trick with like rollovers, and whatnot. It all feels really good. And I just want to just state my opinion that people should not hate on ball bearing knives just because the conventional opinion is not, it doesn't like it as much. Just because it's not liked as much as bushings doesn't mean that you should write a ball bearing knife out. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Obviously, I'm not trying to just force you to say like ball bearings or else. Fuck. But ball bearing knives are fun, and it gives a lot of heavy, slow, otherwise sluggish knives a lot of speed and character. And I think even light knives could necessarily, they could benefit. And it is, I don't like washers. I kind of would never, I don't really plan on ever getting a washer's knife again. I have a Mako. If I sell my Mako, I'll never own a washer's knife again, probably. And so, like, I've seen Squid Trainer 3.5s for sale for, like, under $100, and I go, ooh! And then I learned that it's washers only, and I go, I think I'll pass. I would rather get a Squid Trainer 4 with bushings. But if a knife has ball bearings, I kind of go, interesting, and consider what kind of character it has, just because of how much more rolly it is, and how much it wants to kind of move on its own in a sense, and that's fun and interesting. I have a wide collection, and I like my collection to be diverse. I want my collection to I have a preference: light, neutral, and I guess not super long, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy a stock lucha. I know everyone's like, stock lucha sucks, throw out the handles, get zippy, get the fly tie. And I'm like, no, I'm going to keep the stock lucha. And I think with this bearing, I'm sure the zippy lucha is really fun because it's still bearings. But give bearings a shot. I guess if you were to get a bearings knife, the most affordable ones would probably be a used Bermuda, if you can get one. They are no longer in production. And I guess, I mean, the Talley Z is probably the most standard bearings experience, and the Lucha Zippy Lucha is probably going to be about like, it's like $70 for handles, and the blade you could probably get for maybe 50 or so bucks. But that's all I got to say on bearings. If you like my videos, subscribe and throw a couple bucks towards my coffee if you can. A couple of bucks goes a long way when you are trying to amass a collection like mine and having the ability to talk about a wide variety of knives. It's not cheap, so if you like this, $3 to $5, it goes a long way. So thanks for watching this video, and see you around. Enjoy your flipping.